Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and I'm finally covering the last little bit of spoilers from Caverns of Ixalan, and boy has it been a confusing mess. There's Commander decks, there's Commander box toppers, I think there's Commander boosters. Then you got some Jurassic Park stuff. I mean, I'm sticking to the standard release for now, with a couple exceptions. Well, let's jump in with Captivating Cave. It is a common, but I thought this was really neat. It taps for colorless. You could pay one and basically filter a mana into any color. So color fixing with a net gain of nothing, but if you pay 4, tap it, and sack it, put 2 1/1 counters on a target creature, activate only as a sorcery. That can be a finisher right there. This will be huge in draft, so watch for it. Next up, you got Volatile Fault. This is a land cave, by the way, and so was the last one. You can tap it for colorless, and then if you pay 1 and tap it, sack it, destroy target non-basic land that opponent controls. Yeah, we're back to that again. That player may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. You create a treasure token. That's right, an improvement to the archetype. The 1-for-1 land destruction, you know? This is going to be popular, just saying, because this is like an enhanced version of a card that's already heavily played in some decks. Next up, we got Archaeomancer's Map. Now, this is from the Commander set, but I wanted to point it out because it's kind of neat. It's a 3-cost white artifact, and when it enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 basic plains cards. That's right, 2. Reveal them, put them in your hand, then shuffle. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if that player controls more lands than you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Just like the last one, there have been cards like this in the past, but this is like a new angle on it. I think you would call it a balance effect if I remember correctly, but you know what? It goes back so far, name it whatever you want. But next up, we've got Abuelo's Awakening, and of course that is Spanish for grandfather. So it's 1 white, 3 generic plus generic X, sorcery rare, and return target artifact or non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with X additional 1/1 counters on it. Oh boy. It's a 1/1 spirit creature with flying in addition to its other types. So not quite the clone plus X, one of my favorite cards of all time from Eldritch Moon, or Shadows, I don't remember, one of the two. But still, you know, kind of interesting, just saying. You're going to pour a mountain of mana into this to make it really work. But even if X was 0, you get its ETB effect, you get its abilities, passive, triggered, whatever. It's back. And this is card number 1 and a story spotlight, by the way. So Quintorius from Strixhaven, he's there too, touched the old poncho he'd found, a rush of magic condensed into an echo. That's right, echo with a capital E. And wise Abuelo stepped forth. I haven't read the story, but that sounds significant. Next up, we got some gibberish in Japanese. I've been told by the internet that it's a 3-cost red, white, 1/2. I have confirmed that. And legendary creature human soldier, whenever you attack with 1 or more non-gnome creatures, so probably, put a 1/1 counter on Anim Pakal, which is the name of this, the 1000th moon, then create X colorless 1/1 gnome artifact creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. That sounds familiar. X is the number of 1/1 counters on Anim Pakal. So attack with something else, and eventually you get another army. Not quite as toxic as some absolute garbage in the same colors that we've been forced to deal with in the past, but pretty darn close, so I hate it. Next up, okay, it's completely from one of the secret layers of whatever. Permission denied, come on. I mean, working in IT, I gotta point this out. It's the So this is render silent but downgraded, which I did not see coming. Because render silent's like $1, so very odd. But 1 blue, 1 white. Counter target non-creature spell. Your opponents can't cast non-creature spells this turn. So render silent is 2 blue and a white. Counter any spell, and your opponents can't cast any spells this turn. Is this worth a 1 mana downgrade? Absolutely not. Is it hilarious and do I want to get my hands on it? Absolutely. Just like Basking Capybara. It's a common, but I'm not just going to skip over a Cappy Blappy. So it's a 2-cost green 1/3 with Descend 4. Basking Capybara gets +3/+0 as long as there are 4 more permanent cards in your graveyard. Next up, this is an actual spoiler from Wizards of the Coast sent out via email. Just thought I'd throw that out there. What does it say? Your guess is as good as mine. Next up, Hulking Raptor. It's a 4-cost 5/3, double green creature dinosaur with Ward 2, and at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add 2 green to your mana pool, which is ridiculous. So you get free mana just for existing, and his attack power is higher than his CMC. Fantastic. You know what we should do in green is let them untap all of their lands at their end step. That could never backfire. Let's do that too. Next up, another God card. Oh boy, you know it's going to be full cycle. It's O'Hare Caslim, Deepest Growth. Must be the god of alpacas, because there they be. So, 5 cost, green 6/5, legendary creature god without indestructible, I should point out, trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. You may put a creature card and or land card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom in a random order. When this card dies, return it to the battlefield tapped and transformed under its owner's control. So that's nutty. I could run a commander deck on just this. We get Temple of Cultivation, so it taps for green, and then if you pay 3, transform it. Activate only if you control 10 or more permanents. And only at sorcery speed. Wait a minute, if only they had some sort of thing. Oh, that's right, City's Blissing. That's literally what that's called. I guess they just didn't want to resurrect that, but then also did. And then did it anyway, and I don't know, whatever. Next up, Doot everybody, because it's Trumpeting Carnosaur. It's a 6 cost red 7/6 creature dinosaur with trample, and when it enters the battlefield, discover 5. Reminder text? You mean noob text. So anyway, if you pay 3, discard Trumpeting Carnosaur, it deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So nice utility card. Dinosaurs are going to be pretty OP in this, by the way. Next up, we got Corpses of the Lost. I am afraid of anything that assists Mono Black now that we're, 10 months away from a ban announcement and a rotation. And still, Phyrexian Obliterator and Liliana are going to ruin this entire set by just not letting you play it. Boy, they really should have done something about that, huh? Oh well, not my company, not my problem. So it's a 3 cost black enchantment. Skeletons you control have +1/+0 and have haste. Probably not going to help out Mono Black. We'll see though. When Corpses of the Lost enters the battlefield, they'll create a 2/2 black skeleton pirate creature token. And at the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, which you descend if a permanent card was put into your graveyard from anywhere, self-mill or your hand. I think that's quite silly, but whatever. Then you may pay 1 life. If you do, return Corpses of the Lost to its owner's hand. So you just keep generating it over and over and over and keep it safely in your hand. A little slow, but, it could snowball, I guess. Actually, it's just unreliable. I don't like it. Maybe it'll work with Decayed. I don't know. So next up, we got Kutzil's Flanker. It's a 3 cost white 3/1 cat warrior with flash. Ooh. And when it enters battlefield, choose 1. Put a 1/1 counter on it for each creature that left the battlefield under your control this turn. Or you gain 2 life and scry 2. Or exile target player's graveyard. I love it when they have a good utility card and then put a graveyard wiper in on it. And that kind of suggests that graveyards will be kind of important. So, don't forget this one. Next up, Defathom Echo. It's a 4 cost Merfolk Spirit, because of course it is, blue-green, and 4/4 at the beginning of combat on your turn. This card explores. Ooh. Then you may have it become a copy of another creature you control until end of turn. So you pop the top card off your library. If it's a land, you put it in your hand. If it's not, you get a counter. And then you can either put it in your graveyard or back on top your library if it's not a land. I mean, it's already a 4/4, so what would you want it to be a copy of? I don't know, another obnoxious Merfolk booster probably. Next up, Fabrication Foundry, because besides Undead Merfolk and a bunch of toxic other cards and archetypes, we needed robots. Thanks, Sahili, we appreciate it. So Fabrication Foundry, it's a 2 cost white artifact. You can tap it and add 1 white mana, spend this mana only to cast an artifact spell or activate the ability of an artifact source. And if you pay 3, exile 1 or more artifacts you control with total mana value of X, return target artifact card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. So you get to combine them. Kind of putting all your eggs in one basket. It's a bit specific, but I could see this being in Commander. Next up, we've got Keeper of the Inner Sky, maybe. Never really know with these translations. They've been wrong in the past, so just keep that in mind, and don't blame me. It's a 1/2 for 1. Ooh, creature, human, soldier, non-legendary. As long as there are 3 or more counters on Keeper of the Inner Sky, it has flying and vigilance. We got the underground sky in the background there, pretty bright. They must have a high electric bill. So 3 or more counters, flying and vigilance, good luck. But if you tap 3 untapped artifacts and or creatures you control, put a 1/1 counter on it. Then scry 1. Do it only at sorcery speed, though, making this not an amazing card. Slow buildup against mono black control or attrition, or black white control, or mono blue control, or literally freaking anything control. Yeah, good luck. This set, keep in mind, is Commander Horizons Junior Edition and draftable. That is it. This is going to be dead on arrival in standard, except for the overpowered dinosaurs. And giant dinosaur creatures that show up with CMC 3 and above versus control, I think I know who's going to win. Next up, we got Terrian Soul Cleaver. Ooh, it's a 1-cost legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature has vigilance. Nice. And whenever another artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on equipped creature. Equipped too. This is actually really powerful. So I don't know who Terrion is, but it says Terrion's holy weapon still holds a fragment of his dark power and is hunger. Might have been one of the OG vampires or something. I don't know. Like I said, didn't have time to read the story. Next up, Echoing Deeps. It's a land cave, of course. And you may have Echoing Deep enter the battlefield tapped as a copy of any land card in your graveyard, except it's a cave in addition to its other types. Wow, whatever civilization was down there, they had some tech. They had some infrastructure. More importantly, they had a construction budget. So this is just reflecting pool, but way worse. I don't know why anybody would play this. It's not good. I guess if you wanted it to be a cave, I don't know. Next up, we got Dirge of the Forgotten, German edition. It's a 2-cost blue-black sorcery, which usually is not good. Descend 8. Choose 1. If your graveyard has 8 or more permanent cards when you cast this spell, choose 1 or more instead. Also known as Threshold, pretty much. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Target opponent discards a card. Love that. And look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them in your hand and the rest in your graveyard. If you got 8 in your graveyard, you get all 3. That's like pretty good. Otherwise, this is just your mundane, just whatever card. It is sorcery speed, by the way. Next up, another man land. It's Restless Reef. So blue-black enters tapped, your typical man land, and if you pay 4, it becomes a 4/4 blue-black shark creature with death touch. Until end of turn, it's still a land. Whenever it attacks, target player mills 4 cards. So you can target yourself. It does not say target opponent. Then again, it was translated from German, so who the hell knows? WotC comes in like, look how multinational and diverse we are. I just want to read the card, WotC. Give it to me in English in the country I live in, thanks. Oh, en español no me importa cuál. But I might be German, I don't speak it. So next up, we finally have it. I knew this was a thing. It was in the background art. It was hinted at, and we had the Immortal Sun, so of course we're going to have the Sun Dark Edition. It's Chimmel, the Inner Sun. So I thought this would be a game-ending, just pushed to hell and back, nightmare straight from hell. It is not. It's a 6-cost legendary artifact. Spells you control can't be countered, which is just nice, but, you know, go read the Immortal Sun if you want the baseline. At the beginning of your end step, discover 5. That's it. That's all it does. So, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 5 or less, cast it without paying its mana cost, hello, or put it in your hand. And then put the rest on the bottom in a random order. A free casting engine, and there's nothing you can do about it, but this doesn't have indestructible or hexproof or ward. I would have at least put ward 1 on it just to piss off your opponents. It would be more suited to how important this probably is to the people down there, just saying. So the funny thing is, this looks completely different in the 3 different depictions of it that I've seen. And that kind of pisses me off. It is the source of light for the subterranean area, I assume, and the most singularly important thing in the entire set. So the short version of the story that I just read a summary of is you dig down, you go through the caves, and you end up finding out that the hollow earth theory is real. And it's got robot dinosaur ghosts in it, because why wouldn't it, or whatever. So the ancestors to the Sun Empire, which is the Aztecs up above, Magic the Gathering Space Aztecs, they gained a bunch of power by using Chimmel. And that's pretty much what we know about it. Big old source of power that does some kind of thing. I mean, free casting, sure, that'll give any empire power. Just saying. Well, this will be annoying, but if you drop it in for 6 and can keep it alive, you know, whatever. Have fun in other sets and other formats where you're just going to cheat it in anyway because it's an artifact and then start free casting like a crazy person. That'll be fun. What an underwhelming, yet also annoying, terrible card. So next up we got Akal Pakal. First among equals. Yeah, he looks pretty equal wearing that hat on that throne. Anyway, legendary creature human advisor, 3 cost blue 1/5. At the beginning of each player's end step, if an artifact enters the battlefield under your control this turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So, super artificer without being an artificer. Just does not really scream standard constructed. It screams put this in your very specific commander deck, but we know what it's about at this point. Next up, Squirming Emergence. It's a 3 cost black green, which is apparently in this set. Weird. It has Fathomless Descent, which has got to be the 9th thing they introduced in this set. And return to the battlefield, target non-land permanent card in your graveyard with mana value less than or equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. This is so good, so cheap, and so effective, you could self-mill and then just drop an absolute bomb on them, like my old Elzombly deck, which was Eldrazi zombies being resurrected from the graveyard. I think this has basically 0 support in standard, but I checked, it says LCI on the bottom, not LCC, so... Hey. Oh, and the flavor text is, due to archaic Brazen Coalition guidelines regarding hats, a few mycoids are now technically pirate captains. Yes, we have a similar rule on my channel. Whoever owns/holds/controls Mr. Pickle actually technically owns and operates my channel. That is a real fact that I just made up. Next up, we got Sentinel of the Nameless City. It's a 3/4 for 3 with Vigilance, Merfolk Warrior Scout, because you gotta cram in all the tribals. Whenever Sentinel of the Nameless City enters the battlefield or attacks, making it worse, create a map token. And I think the maps are just like Portable Explore. Like, you just delayed, sack them kind of like a clue, but you can target any creature. So yeah, Explorer is gonna be bonkers this time around. Next up, Diamond Pickaxe, because why not? It's a 1 cost red artifact equipment, indestructible. That's why I threw this in, even though it's uncommon. This is already nutty. And then they put the reminder text of effects that say destroy, don't destroy this artifact. Really? Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has, when this creature attacks, create a treasure token equipped to. This is one tiny step down from Sword of the Animist, and that card is like $15, so... Just saying. I think a valuable uncommon will come out of a standard set when Hell freezes over because of supply levels, but you never know. Keep your eye on this one. Next up, Molten Collapse. See, that's why you gotta hire engineers. It's a black-red sorcery and rare. And choose one. If you descend to this turn, you may choose both instead. There you go. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, or destroy target creature non-land permanent or with mana value 1 or less. Weirdly specific. The first one's pretty powerful, though. I would have almost not made the sorcery speed, but I don't know. In those color combination, yeah, slow it down. I could see it. Next up, Starved Revenant. How can you starve if you're not alive? It's a double black 4-cost creature spirit horror. Shout out to my horror tribal enthusiasts. When this card enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Then for each card you put on top of your library, draw a card and lose 3 life. And then Descent 8. Also known as Threshold. Come on. I think it was 7, but whatever. It's Threshold. Whenever you draw a card, if you have 8 or more permanent cards, oh, that's right. Threshold was any cards. Whatever. In your graveyard, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So, a less effective but equally annoying Sheldred. That's what we needed. Thanks. Well, at least Descent will never happen. And here we go. The Ancient One. A mythic from the main set. He do be both large and in charge. Human for scale. So it's a blue-black legendary creature spirit god, so you know this is going to be good. If this even resembles the Scarab God, I am going to karate chop my monitor in half. Okay, I haven't read this yet. So Descent 8, which will never happen. This can't attack or block unless you have more than 8 permanent cards in your graveyard, so okay. It is an 8/8 for 2 though, might I warn you. There is a lot wrong with that when it's like, sack something or cast it or this or that or based on its power or... Yeah, outside of standard, you're going to get some traction on this one. But if you pay 4, draw a card, then discard a card, aka load up your graveyard. When you do, target player mills equal to that card's mana value. That's right, mill is back. So they must have thought, okay, it's blue-black and it's God card. We got to make it the most obnoxious, toxic, stupid, annoying card possible, and this is what they came up with. Fantastic. Is he wearing that sun thing as a hat? I ask because it doesn't really look like it, but it looks like one out of the 3 depictions of it inconsistently, so I don't know. Well, thanks, Watsy. I hate it. So I want to circle back to the first card here because, as you might have suspected, people on the internet have classified this on the official wiki, I guess, or I don't know where I was, as this being a depiction of that sun thing. Well, this is a cave, and the sun is in the hollow area in the center of the planet plane thing, not in a cave. So I think there's like glowing purple thing must be the sun. I disagree. But here's the other depiction of it. But here's the side-by-side depictions of it. You can see why I wonder what's going on there. I don't know. Maybe it transforms. Maybe it's an alien spaceship like that one movie. And by that one movie, I mean all of those movies. I don't know, man. I don't know. Probably would help if I read the story, but I've been busy. So, hey, thanks for watching. Let me know if you want me to actually cover the Commander spoilers. I mean, this whole damn set is pretty much a Commander set, but the other ones that aren't legal in Standard, so like from the Commander set related to Caverns of Ixalan, pretty nuts. Like this, they had to kind of make it work and be appropriate a little bit for a format that nobody plays anymore and be draftable. The other ones, they could just go nuts. They don't care. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.